Hello, my name is Jeff Button. Today we will be looking at the first stage cleaning and prepping of my rock tumbler. Here I am taking the barrel off the tumbler. This tumbler is a 15-pound capacity. It is made by Extreme Tumlber and is a Rebel 17. I used to use a smaller tumbler, but when I got into bigger rock, I needed something bigger. When rock tumbling, your rocks will remain in the first stage the majority of time. So there's an advantage to running more rocks in the bigger machine. Now, I will undo these thumb nuts in an alternating pattern, the same as I would put on. It's probably a good idea to do this as you remove the cover in case any pressure buildup has occurred. I've not had it done to me, but I have heard obsidian could cause gas buildup, and I'm not sure about other rocks. Now I will just set these thumb nuts to the side and remove the cover so I may clean it along with the gasket. Here I'm just using a paper towel at first to clean the majority of sludge material off the cover. It is important if you're going to do this cleaning in your kitchen sink that you do not get any of the waste in the drain. The waste sludge from this would settle like cement in your drain pipes and be very costly for repairs. I have this 2-gallon bucket in the sink that I will use to catch any of the waste material, in which I will dump outside later. It would be nice to use a 3-gallon for this bigger tumbler, but I have been using this kitchen strainer up until now, and it fits the bucket well. Now I will clean the gasket. In some future videos, I will do this outside, and it will make this process work much faster. If you happen to have a deep sink in your garage that isn't hooked up to your septic system and dumps right into a bucket, that will be best. Once the cold winter sets in, I will be forced to do this inside again. Now, I'll just set the gasket to the side and begin cleaning the rocks. These rocks are bigger than normal, that's why I'm taking some out one at a time. Once I fill up a strainer, I will rinse them. After I rinse the rocks off, I will place the rocks into these tubs of water to my left. It is always a good idea to keep your rocks moist until they are finished. Doing so will help keep any of the grit from sticking to the rocks that may have been left behind. You want to be sure not to have grit carry over from one stage to the next. Also, it's a good idea to do a cleaning cycle for about 2 hours in the tumbler with some Borax detergent between stages. At least do this before the final stage and after as well. The rocks look shiny here, but that is because they are wet. Yes, they will begin to have some shine, but not anything like the final polish stage. I will be inspecting the rocks to see if they will pass and be ready for the second stage. I have a bucket with water for that ready at the back of the sink. In the first tumbling stage, you may use 60-90 grit. You may use other grit as well. I've tried 80 grit, but in the future I use 60 grit and am being more aggressive with the larger rocks. The first stage of tumbling is basically for shaping and smoothing the rocks. Depending on the hardness of the rock, it will determine how fast it will process. Take note that you should typically do rocks of similar hardness together. For example, if you put a very soft rock in with hard rock, you may pulverize the soft one to powder. Some may say to tumble for a week, and that might be fine. But with this bigger tumbler and larger rocks, I will tumble from 10 to 14 days before clean out. As I go through the inspection, only a small portion is typically ready to move on. You will also lose about 15% of your rock in each tumble, give or take. Tumbling in first stage for harder rocks can take months. I even have some that have been in for well over a year. As you do the process, you will add new stone to take up the gap. This is okay in the first stage because, again, it's about the shape and being smooth. Expect this part to be time-consuming and be patient. You will be well rewarded in the end. I want to say most of these rocks I have here, tumbling, are native rocks of northern New England. It's amazing how a plain-looking rock can turn out so nice looking after tumbling. After you've been tumbling for a while and have been finding your own rocks, you will begin to have an eye for what could be a good candidate for tumbling. Almost done with the cleaning and inspection. Now that all the heavy rocks are out, we will dump out the remaining slurry and media for a cleanup. When I talk about media, what I mean is ceramic pellets that are used as both a buffer and a means to get into nooks and crannies. This will help in the shaping process where otherwise may not happen. In the first stage, I will even add some tiny stones where I'm not concerned of scratching. I have been using only larger pellets in the first stage lately, for when I don't think the smaller ones are necessary and they tend to pulverize fast. As you move into the next stages, the buffer will be more important because you don't want to have your rocks smash into each other and causing damage or scratching. I have separate media for each stage as not to cross-contaminate. And in the second to polish stage, I will use a combination of the larger and smaller ceramic pellets. Here I had to go empty the waste bucket beforehand. Now I will take some Dawn dish soap and clean the inside of the barrel. Now that I have finished cleaning the interior of the barrel, I will remove the waste material bucket to the side, then clean the outside of the barrel. Now it's time to add the rocks back in. You should note that I will alternate by putting different size rocks in layers, and as well as ceramic media. This should help in a better grinding process. As I had said before, you will have some loss during the grinding process, and so you will be able to add more rock to the tumbler barrel. For the best performance, and to keep from breaking your rocks, it is recommended that your barrel be between 2/3 full and 3/4 full. That one rock I show, I cut with my slab saw. As your ceramic wears down over time, you'll want to add some more to make up the difference. Here I had some black sands and magnetics from my pay dirt that I figured I could add to the grinding. Don't know if it will help. I will now add borax soap. I will put in about 1 tablespoon per pound, so about 15. This will help make the grit into a slurry so that it sticks to the rocks better and make for better grinding. It also acts as a cleaner. You can get the soap at most grocery stores. Now it's time to add the grit. I will use a full cup for this. I buy this by the 10 pounds. You will use a lot more of the first stage grit than any other stage. Also, buying in bulk make it less expensive. Be careful when adding the grit that you don't spill it, and if so, clean up quickly so as not to grind your counter or get down the drain. Also, try not to get any of it on the edge of the barrel where the cover gasket will sit. Now it's time to add water. I use cool water for this. You will add enough till it's just below the top of your rocks. Too much, it won't grind well, and too little will give you a major headache, in which I will show you that in near future. Now we will put on the cover gasket. Time for the cover. We will put on the thumb nuts in alternating pattern and tighten them as tight as we can with just our hands. For us older, weaker folk, it's okay to do the final tightening with paper towel. I hope you enjoyed watching and learning about the first stage process of rock tumbling. Though this is my method with this particular tumbler, you may want to tweak your own methods. You can use this as a base. Also to keep in mind that depending on the rocks you are tumbling, you may also need to make adjustments. In the future, I will be putting out videos on the other stages. And be sure you keep an eye out for when I do show my final results. You may be amazed. At some point, I will show you my private collection. Those are the best of the best rocks I set aside for myself. I've given a lot away for gifts, and sure as I accumulate more, I will find some I like better and swap out. Again, I want to thank you for watching. I hope if you decide to do your own tumbling, you will have great success. Either way, I hope you will appreciate the time and effort it takes to go from rough rock to polish. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share, and set the notification. Thank you so much.